How's it going, Twitch? My name is Skull, and on behalf of Eastasiasoft, welcome to today's stream. It is Sunday, which means it is time for me to continue my playthrough of If My Heart Had Wings. Not really much to say right now, honestly. Didn't stream this last week for obvious reasons, but we're back, and I'm excited to continue, and gosh, I hope that this game doesn't end today, because last time it ended on kind of a sad note. It really felt like there was a lot left to be resolved, and I really want to see... There's just so many things left that I feel like we have to see in this game at some point, and I really want to see it. Hello, Jesus. How are you doing? So, man, this game is just... It's absolutely beautiful. I hope that you guys got your physical copies pre-ordered or ordered or whatever, because they're gone. They're gone. There's no physical copies left for you to get of this game. Hi, Scuzzy. I'm feeling really good. Thank you very much. Definitely ready to continue on with our stream today. So, yeah. Sundays are my days. It's the days that I sit down and decide which EAS game I want to play. Without Josh telling me which one to play, this is the one where I'm like, you know what? I want to play this. And I've been playing this now, as hard as it is to believe. I missed last week, and I missed 1 or 2 weeks in September. But otherwise, I mean, I've been playing this almost half of the year now. That's just crazy to think. I've been playing this game more than any other game in the year 2021 here on EAS. And, you know, hopefully it doesn't end, because, man, I am enjoying it. Really, really am. Without further ado, let's go ahead, hop into it. And that's everything related to what happened yesterday regarding my family, is where we were at. So, if you need to get caught up, well, first of all, we do archive all of our streams over on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Eastasiasoft. So if you want to get caught up, then head over there, watch the series on your own. But if you just want the gist of what's going on, we've been building a glider. Kotori, in this wheelchair, has a sister who didn't know that she flew in the glider. And it turns out, as we just learned last week, 2 weeks ago, last time I streamed, Kotori is in a wheelchair because of a hot air balloon accident. So her sister's like, how could you do this? Do you even remember, like, what happened, what it did to our family? Really down note, but time for us to continue. After explaining the situation to everybody, Kotori gave an apology to everyone. Since I had already told everyone about the accident and the glider being a secret from her family, everyone knew what to expect. I think I could turn up the volume a little. Yeah, there we go.
そのつもり、少なくともこの夏が終わるまではね。どういうことですか？ひばり姉にお願いしたの。夏休みが終わったら自分で話すから、それまでお父さんたちには黙っててって。
Hibari had seemed a bit disappointed at the idea, but ultimately had agreed to Kotori's request. After all, Hibari did care for her little sister.
お父さんたちがグライダーのこと知ったら反対すると思う。それだけじゃないわ。きっと無理にでも家に連れ戻されちゃう。そんな。だからお父さんたちがダメって言うなら、私はこの夏で部活を引退するつもり。引退って。待ってよ、そんなの。ごめん、アゲハ。
Ageha bit her tongue as Kotori apologized. She knew that persisting would only cause trouble for Kotori.
ソアリング部に席を置いていても飛びさえしなければいいんじゃないの？
Kotori shook her head.
多分関わることも許してくれないと思う。それにもう信じてはくれないだろうし。
We didn't know how her parents would react until it actually happened. But she did keep it a secret. It would be naive to think you could be trusted again after that.
それにみんなのおかげで私はもう空を飛ぶ気持ちよさを知っちゃったから、二度と飛べないって分かってるのにグライダーの近くに居続けるなんて多分無理。
Who could blame her? Oh man, imagine loving chocolate more than anything else and then finding out you're lactose intolerant. You'd never want to see chocolate again. It's kind of like that.
みんな自分でまいた種だからしょうがないわ。自己責任ってやつね。
Asa started to look sad. Yoru also didn't seem convinced.
じゃあ私も引退かな。
Hey, what are you saying?
だってさ、私は楽しいからやってるわけ。楽しくないならやる価値なし。小鳥がいないならもうやんぴ。
Looking disappointed, Ageha folded her arms behind her head. Quitting.
バカなこと言わないでよ。せっかくここまでやってきたんじゃない。あまねちゃん飛ばすためにみんなでグライダーを修理して、ガレージ壊されちゃった後も朝たちのおかげでこんな立派な活動場所を見つけて、やっと機体の改良ができてまた飛べるようになって、ようやくまともに活動できるようになったんじゃない。だからでしょ、私はグライダーでも何でもよかったの。ロボット部の方が楽しければあっち続けてたと思う。でも葵や小鳥やあまね先輩とものづくりする方が面白いから私はこっちを選んだの。小鳥、あんたと何かするのが楽しかったの。そのあんたがいなくなっちゃうんじゃなんかもうつまんない。アゲハ。
Kotori gave Ageha a look filled with both happiness and frustration. I agree.
葵くんまで。
I didn't only want to fly the glider. Yeah, it was really fun. I liked it a lot, but it was only fun because you were all here. If all I wanted to do was fly, I'd flown enough when I went to the airfield for training. It was amazingly fun, and I didn't want to quit. It wasn't what I truly wanted, though. If we don't do it together...
朝のことはどうすんのよ。
Asa looked as if she was about to cry.
いえ、私はいいんです。終わってしまうのは悲しいですけど、皆さんの熱い友情も素敵ですし、それに私だって同じです。空を飛んでみたいからソアリング部に入ったんじゃありません。皆さんの仲間に入りたくてソアリング部に入ったんです。朝、無理しちゃって。無理してないもん、本当だもん。まあそうよね。ただ飛びたいだけならおじいちゃんにお願いすれば一発だものね。ってことで、あんたが引退するならソアリング部は即時解散ね。ダメよ、そんなの責任感じちゃうじゃない。感じればいいんじゃないかしら。実際あるわけだし。
I hate to use the phrase guilt tripping here, but you know, sometimes all that someone needs is a little bit of positive peer pressure. Just saying. You are the club leader after all. あんたらって。話をまとめるわよ。夏が終わるまでは今まで通り全力でモーニンググローリーを目指す。その後は知らん。ある意味今までと何も変わってないわね。頑張りましょうね、小鳥先輩。You could almost say this problem made us all closer. At least it seemed like everyone felt that way. 葵、ついでにあの話もしとく？ Oh yeah. Well, about the flight. That is, when the Morning Glory makes its appearance. Kotori, you're going to be the main pilot. Looking a bit troubled by having her hands held by Asa, Kotori listened to me, dumbfounded. You've got enough skill to be the pilot. You don't have enough experience, but I'll help with that.
でも葵くんだって自分で飛びたいんじゃ。
Well, yeah, that's true. But it's fine with me as long as I can make it through the clouds.
アゲハたちはそれでいいの？
私はほら別に飛びたいわけじゃないから。他に乗りたい人がいるなら譲るのはやぶさかじゃないってところね。
私は先輩たちがそれでいいならいいです。
I wonder if you do the other routes, if the other girls fly with you instead of Kotori. Obviously, we're going the Kotori route because, I mean, duh. But I'm just wondering if I replay this game on my own, maybe it'll be a bit different.
私はただの部外者です。
Also that. There is a Yoru route. There is a Yoru route, somehow.
ありがとう。私のために。
Kotori looked as if she was about to cry, tears of joy.
ああ、一つ訂正しとくけど、別にあんたのためじゃないからね。私は私のためにやってるの。
Same here.
私もです。
Yeah, we're in this for us.
Me too.
Oh, that was English. Not knowing how to take it all, Kotori began to show a mix of emotions. I almost laughed at the odd combination of tears and look of amusement on her face.
だから遠慮なんかするなってこと。
Just keep your mind on flying for now. Kotori started to cry again, this time with a smile on her face. So yeah, I wonder with the other routes if Kotori stays on the ground. I guess we'll find out. I'm back. There was a letter on the dining room table. I'm going home for a bit, Kaneko.
今日はカナいないんだ。
Seems so.
朝も夜もいないし、二人っきりね。
Good night, everybody. Seems like it. Since it was Asa and Yoru's turn to watch over the sky at the secret base, they were going to be spending the night there. They said they would be eating at the hangar and had bought some snacks at the convenience store. It was like they were having a trip. Even though we realized it was going to be just the two of us, we tried not to think about it.
汗かいちゃったから顔洗ってくる。
Kotori left the dining room. I guess I'll get changed too. For some reason, I started to worry about smelling sweaty. I decided to head back to my room and get changed.
いい？呼ぶまで絶対入ってきちゃダメよ。
Are you really alright?
大丈夫だってば。ハト、葵くんが入ってこないよう見張ってて。もし入ってきたら遠慮なく攻撃していいからね。
Attacked by a killer duck, what a way to go.
くわー。
Hattie menacingly flapped his wings my way. I shrugged my shoulders and left the room. It seemed like Kotori was making dinner tonight. Since she didn't want me looking, she kicked me out of the kitchen. I wonder if she really is okay. I worried that she might cut herself with a knife or burn herself on the stove. Starting to become anxious, I tried to peek through a gap in the door, but Hattie was keeping watch like a loyal guard dog. I could burst my way through, but that would only make Kotori upset. She probably wouldn't speak to me for the whole night. I had to avoid that. I am worried though. If I could see her from here, I probably wouldn't be all that concerned. Not being able to see anything only made me worry more. Trying to listen in on what was happening, I suddenly realized something. If Kotori's father knew about the glider, he'd probably feel like this. He probably didn't know anything about gliders, or what kind of activities our club did. The only thing he would know is that we were flying. So of course he'd be extremely worried that something terrible could happen to his daughter. Only because Hibari frequently came here and knew us all, did she promise to wait until the end of summer. Huh? The phone in the hall was ringing. Since we had cell phones, it was rare to hear the dormitory phone, yet it was ringing now. Slipping past the gaze of Hattie the watch duck, I headed towards the entrance. Who could it be? Maybe Kaneko? Hello, this is Flying Fish Manor.
管理人の水瀬さんはいらっしゃいますでしょうか?
The caller was a man. Speaking. May I ask who's calling?
羽根小鳥の父です。
My mind instantly went blank. Good evening. Right now she's...
いえ、小鳥に用事があるわけではないんです。
He quickly corrected me. Oh, well then, how can I help you?
水瀬さん、あなたとお話がしたかったんです。
Me? What could he want to talk to me about? Did Hibari tell him about the glider? Was he mad at me for not saying anything to him? Or was he planning to bring Kotori back home? Was he calling to talk about the arrangements? I braced myself and listened to what Kotori's father had to say.
あなたにお礼が言いたくて。
Huh? Thank me?
はい。ひばりからいろいろと話を伺いまして。
Hearing him say Hibari's name made my heart stop. But I quickly regained my composure. He wouldn't be calling to thank me if there was a problem.
先日あの子が小鳥が帰省してきてくれたのは水瀬さんのおかげなのだと。帰るのを渋るあの子を説得してくださったとか。
I didn't really do much.
おかげで久しぶりに家族の時間を過ごすことができました。ありがとうございました。
You called just to thank me?
お恥ずかしながらこんなことを言われても戸惑わせるだけだろうと分かってはいるのですが、どうしてもお礼を言いたくて。
Yeah, she doesn't have a bad dad. She really doesn't. No, don't worry about it at all. I'm glad to help, even if a little. I paid him a little lip service since I didn't know what else to say. Since he was the same age as my father, I had to pay him respect. Kotori was happy too. She really seemed happy when she was talking about her time at home.
あの子がですか?
He seemed surprised and gracious at the same time. Such a simple thing really seemed to make him happy. I probably shouldn't tell him that the pandas were the thing she was most excited about.
そうですか。あの子がそんな風に。
Yeah, she was. I wasn't lying. She did really seem to be happy when talking about being with her parents.
ひばりやクラス担任の先生からそちらでの様子を伺っていたのですが。
So, even Kotori's homeroom teacher had spoken with him. I hadn't thought about the possibility, even though it was extremely obvious to me now.
クラスで浮いていることや特定の科目の成績だけ極端に悪いということも聞いていました。親しい友人がいる様子はなく、だんだんと学校を休みがちになっていたとも。
He sounded sad. He must have been really worried about her. It was heart-wrenching just to imagine how he must have felt.
それが昨年の夏頃からだんだんと変わってきて、今じゃ友達もできて成績も安定しているとか。
Yes, when I started working, she wasn't getting along with the others, but now she's really doing well with them. I tried to be as cheerful as possible. I wanted him to know that there wasn't much to worry about.
ええ、ひばりから伺っています。皆さんが来てくださったからだと。学校でも小鳥が周囲に馴染めるよう尽力くださったと伺っています。
Well, it wasn't just me. It was really all thanks to her meeting Amane and Ageha. Even the glider had a big impact. I hadn't really done anything. But I guess he wasn't told that. Should I go get Kotori? Since you called, you may as well talk with...
いえ、いいんです。
He was surprisingly blunt.
あの子はまだ私たちを許してくれていません。
The slight cheerfulness that came to his voice had already faded.
あの子は隠していますが、私たちも気がついています。あの子は本当は工学になんて興味がなかったのに。
Kotori had lied about her interest in engineering and had come to Keifu Academy. Her parents had believed her, but came to realize it was a lie once they heard about her grades. At the same time, that lie revealed another hidden desire. My mom and dad always looked sad. It was like my life had ended. That continued for so long, I couldn't take it anymore, so I decided to leave the house. That bitter emotion had made it all the way to her parents. That was the reason Kotori's father had not come to see her all the way up until her recent trip back home.
あの子に嘘をつかせた責任は私たちにあります。
A deflated voice came out of the receiver. It was obvious that he had been living with some regrets over the past few years.
あの子が家を出て行ってから、我が家はまるで火が消えたようでした。けれど、そんな家族がまた一つになれるかもしれない。先日小鳥が帰ってきてくれた時は、家内も喜んで、まるで昔に戻ったみたいでした。あの子がそちらへ戻った後、家内と話していたんです。もしあの事故がなければ、きっと今頃毎日があんな風に過ごせていたんだろうって。
I see.
ですが、また一緒に暮らせるようになるかもしれない。これもみんな水瀬さんのおかげです。
I sensed a hint of sadness in his gratitude. Through that, I could tell he was sincere. I think Kotori changed because she wanted to. All I and everyone else did was simply be there for her. It hadn't been because of her legs. You help friends. That's all there was to it. Changing a bit from the influence of your friends was natural. It would happen to anyone. I wasn't sure if my message came across, but her father thanked me once again.
娘のことをよろしくお願いします。
Saying that, he hung up. I hung up the phone with a sigh. If he had known about the glider, there was no way he would have spoken to me like that. I didn't think I should have told him, however. Not knowing what to do left me with a heavy feeling.
電話してたの？
Huh? Oh, yeah. Kotori came out of nowhere.
誰から？
The gardener. They need to come soon to do some work.
そう。ハットがあっちこっち続き回って荒れちゃってるものね。
I lied without even thinking about it. Is dinner ready? I'm getting a little hungry.
できたわ。
Dinner was laid across the dining room table. Croquets? I love croquet. Oh. I gotta make sure I know how to pronounce that. Give me just a second. Pretty sure this is a croquet. Croquet. Yeah, okay, it's a croquet. That's what I thought. It's a croquet. I love croquets.
お口に合
A large pile of barrel-shaped croquets were sitting atop a large plate. All of them were fried to golden brown perfection, but a few had crushed spots. I quickly took my seat. Can I eat?
いいよ。
Alright! I started to dig into the piping hot croquet. These are great! But something's a bit different about this one.
そっちは肉じゃがコロッケよ。こっちのが普通のコロッケね。
A meat and potato croquet? I've never had one of these before. Kotori seemed to enjoy watching me munch away at her cooking. When did you learn to cook like this?
そのコロッケはね、お母さんの得意料理なの。
Ah, so what that means is... Kotori nodded. She had made a promise to me a while back. Since her mother taught her to cook, she was going to make something for me.
ごめんね、遅くなっちゃって。なかなかいいタイミングがなくて。
Croquet did take quite a long time to make. Since we were busy every day at the club, she never had the time. So this is what your mom's cooking tastes like.
お姉ちゃんもまだ教えてもらってない秘伝の味よ。
The outside was crispy and the inside was delectably soft. Wow, took a few tries, but I got there. A few of them were a bit oddly shaped, but they were without a doubt delicious. These are so good with rice. More, please. I lifted up my rice bowl and Kotori happily wheeled off to go get more.
どんどん食べてね。全部食べちゃってもいいから。
They were so good that I wanted to do just that, but there was just too many. The large plate had 2 plates worth of croquettes piled up in a pyramid. I ate as many of Kotori's croquettes as my stomach would allow. I am full. I threw my overstuffed body onto my bed. That was so good. I'm stuffed.
喜んでもらえてよかった。
Having her cookie praised really seemed to make Kotori happy. Hold on a minute, okay? I'll be fine in a bit. I lay on my bed until my stomach settled a little. While I was resting, Kotori began staring at the bicycle in the corner of my room.
ちゃんと手入れしてあるのね。
Yeah, it's sort of a habit. I can't sleep if I don't do it, even though I don't ride it anymore.
乗らないの？
I couldn't even if I wanted to. As I answered, Kotori looked at my knee.
全然平気そうに見えるけど、そんなことないんだ。
I could probably ride around a little bit, but there's no way I could race. The problem was, it just wasn't fun to ride around slowly. I'd probably want to go faster, push too hard, and then hurt my knee again.
葵くんがこの自転車で走ってるとこ見てみたかったな。きっと超かっこよかったと思うの。
I can show you. I pulled myself up and fumbled through my desk drawer. After a bit of searching, I pulled out an album. My friends in the cycling club made this for me when I transferred schools. It was filled with pictures of the club and event records.
素敵なお友達がたくさんいたのね。
Well, when I got it, I thought it was some sort of a bad joke. I laughed and Kotori gave me a funny look. Because, you know, I transferred schools to get away from cycling, and then they gave me this. When I got it, I just shoved it to the bottom of my drawer and forgot I had it.
今は見られるようになったってこと？
I guess. All thanks to the glider and making new friends, I suppose. Now I appreciate their thoughtfulness. I really don't have any bad memories from back then.
葵くんだ。若い。
looked a bit like a punk. It was a picture of me from the first grade. I really looked like a child.
かわいい。いいなあ、この葵くん。なでなでしたい。
Some guys don't like it when you say they're cute, you know. Saying that in a sullen tone had Kotari laugh in a way that implied even that was cute.
自転車のユニフォーム姿の葵くんもかっこいいな。ねえ、これってすごくスピード出るんでしょ？どのくらい速いの？
Well, if I pedal as fast as I can, I could probably go a bit faster than a car at normal speed.
車より速いの？
There's no way I could keep that speed up the whole time, but the final sprint before the finish line is pretty fast.
足を使い切る？
Basically, using up all the energy you stored up.
へえ。うわ、これすごいね。坂を登ってる。
We call it a hill climb. It's really, really tough.
みたいね。すんごい顔してる。
Let me tell you though, after you struggle up the hill, there's quite a prize waiting for you. The prize is going downhill.
ダウンヒル？
Yeah, going downhill gets you going really fast and it feels amazing.
サーマルに乗って空の上まで上がった後、遠くまで滑空していくような感じかな。
Well, it's similar, but still different. The sense of speed is different on a bicycle. Since you were on the ground, the sensation of speed was much faster. It felt great to be hundreds of feet above the ground in a glider, but that was different.
自転車か。
You were in the volleyball club, right?
最初スパイカーだったんだけど、セッターやれる子がいなくて途中で転校したの。私割と器用だったからどこでもこなせたし。
Cool. Do you have an album or anything? Kotari flashed an awkward smile.
全部捨てちゃった。
Sorry I brought it up.
今このアルバム見ててちょっと後悔してる。嫌な思い出ってわけじゃないんだから撮っとけばよかったって。
I'd love to see pictures of you from back then. I bet you were really cute.
まあね。
She nodded without thought. Not really modest, huh?
ご近所で評判だったらしいから美人姉妹って。どっちかっていうとお姉ちゃんの方がすごいモテモテだったけど、隣町からラブレターが届くなんてこともしょっちゅうだったし。
Wow. I could see that happening. As we talked about Hibari, a frown started to form on Kotari's face. But you must have been popular too, right? My heart was pounding as I asked.
まあね。
Kotari had an annoyed look on her face as she answered.
でもあの頃は男の子のこととか全然興味なくてお付き合いとかしたことなかったの。だから初めて好きになった男の子は葵くんよ。
Even though she was smiling, she still seemed to be a bit embarrassed to say it. I was extremely happy to hear that. By the way, about the way we talk to each other. Well, if we're going to be together, shouldn't you try to be more relaxed when you're with me?
そうかも。
Say that you like me again.
でもいきなりは難しいよ。
Why not? It's no good if you're not relaxed. Go ahead, try.
葵くん。
Hey.
だってなんか発音のバランスに問題があっていきなり導入するのは難しいのよ。
I think he's trying to say stop calling him Aoi-kun and just call him Aoi. I think that's what he's trying to get at here. Don't worry about it.
あ、すねた。ごめん、ちゃんと呼べるようになるから。
Are you sure?
約束する。
Kotori began flipping randomly through the album. Aside from the pictures, my race results were also in there. Although she probably didn't understand them, she looked through them one by one. Hey, when you had your accident, the balloon crashed, right? Kotori raised her head. And flying a glider isn't scary?
全然。
She spoke confidently. Hibari turned pale whenever she talked about it. It must have been a really big accident. However, Kotori didn't seem to be scared at all, even while we'd been doing the spin recovery training.
私、小さい頃から空に憧れてて、それで旅行先で熱気球に乗れるって知って、わがまま言って乗せてもらったの。そしたら事故に遭っちゃったんだけど、でもあんな風に空を飛んだのは初めてだったから、すごく楽しかった。あの時気球から見た景色は今でも忘れてない。
So that part of you remember as a good remember? So that part you remember as a good memory? I could tell that she was being honest about it. My accident happened while I was going downhill. The cyclist in front of me fell, and I went down as well.
そうなんだ。
Of course, I still remember how good it feels to be going downhill. Going up the winner's podium was great too.
それ、アゲハが見られなくて悔しがってたやつね。私も見たかったな。
Back then, I only really wanted to ride. I didn't really care about the results. Going up to the winner's podium, being congratulated by my coach and teammates, Tatsuya being proud of me. I really got a taste for it then. I got too excited when I was going downhill, and then I got into the accident. Nothing good ever happens to people who get too greedy. Kotori had a puzzled expression.
もしまた自転車に乗られるなら乗りたい？
Yeah, if I could, I would love to. But since I have the glider now, maybe I might continue it as a hobby. She seemed a little relieved to hear me say that. During rehab, my doctor told me that if I had surgery, I could probably compete again.
そうなの？
But it was going to be a huge operation and cost a lot of money and time. On top of that, it wasn't a guarantee that I would recover. I couldn't make up my mind, so I didn't do it. I was told I had a 50-50 chance of recovering. Now I could understand why I couldn't make up my mind back then. I was probably scared. That if it didn't succeed, I wouldn't be able to heal. If that were the case, I wanted to keep hoping that I could still recover. It was an embarrassing story, but back then I needed to have hope for something or I would have gone crazy.
今からでも受けられないの？
I'm not sure. I'd have to ask a doctor.
受けられればいいのに。
Why?
だってほら、夏が終わったらソアリング部が。
Oh yeah, the disbanding.
なんか納得いかないけど。
Well then, I guess I could have the surgery, even though our school doesn't have a cycling club. Making a club that wouldn't worry Kotori's parents seemed like an interesting option.
そうしましょう。それでまた自転車の後ろに乗せてちょうだい。
Kotori was talking as if it had already been decided. If all I was going to do was that, I didn't need the surgery.
このアルバム借りてていい？
Sure, but what are you going to do?
見るの。網膜に焼き付くくらい。
There was something scary about that. However, as she stared at each page of the album, I could tell she wasn't exaggerating. I went to the kitchen to clean up. Kotori was at the table, intensely looking through the album. Isn't it boring?
全然
She didn't even look at me when she answered. She looked like an archaeologist trying to decipher an ancient text.
このゴツゴツした感じの男の子が葵くんの一番のお友達だったのかしら。さっきからやたら登場して葵くんにベタベタしてる。
Ah, Takenaka?
竹中？ゴツゴツは竹中。
She repeated herself as if to memorize it.
みんな仲良さそう。
I guess. I still keep in touch with them now. I even got a message asking to meet up this summer, but I told them I was too busy and couldn't.
竹中とは今でも仲良しと。
Oh yeah. Is it alright if I take a picture of you later?
いいけど、どうして？
To send to him. He won't shut up about showing him a picture. After bragging about having a girlfriend, he became jealous and started asking me to show him pictures.
それはいい考えね。葵くんにはもうちゃんとした彼女がいることをしっかりアピールしとかないと。
She murmured while looking at a picture of Takenaka and I with our arms over each other's shoulders. I wondered what she could be imagining. Alright, the dishes are done. It's so much easier when it's just the two of us. If it were always like this, my job would be easier. Well then, I think I'm gonna go have a bath. How about you? You want to go first?
入らない。
Don't you need to wash?
そうじゃないの。葵くんともっと話がしたいなって。お風呂はそれからって意味よ。
Oh, okay. That's fine.
じゃあ外に出て話さない？
Sure, no problem with that. I gave a slight smile with my answer. Kotori seemed pleased and headed to the entranceway. I wondered why she spoke so formally.
空が綺麗。
Looking completely at peace, Kotori gazed up at the infinite number of stars shining down on us. Kotori's eyes shined in the starlight.
ねえ葵くん、夜に飛んだらあの星が手に届くのかしら。
Seems like it, yeah, but it's dangerous to fly at night.
せっかくロマンチックに言ってみたのに、なんか現実的な返事でつまんないわ。
Sorry. Kotori pouted. I laughed, trying to cover my embarrassment, and apologized. Even though we obviously can't reach out and touch the stars, I still want to reach out for it. Because what we're doing is reaching for the sky, you know?
そうね。
It was the best thing that came to mind to be romantic. The way she happily carried on the conversation made her look even more beautiful. Look at her, she's blushing. Which was why I decided to ask. Can I touch your legs? No! I'm being serious here. My reason was simple. I wanted to understand her pain. Perhaps if I understood, I'd be able to help her feel better about it somehow. Kotori seemed to have a multitude of conflicting emotions battling within her. I was simply glad she didn't immediately say no.
嫌じゃない？
There's nothing for me to hate. I answered immediately. I love everything about you, Kotori.
本当に？
Really.
あ
She clearly had a lot of emotions going through her mind. I could see joy and confusion mingled together with sadness. I wanted her to know how I felt about her. So, is it alright? After putting in a lot of thought, she finally nodded in agreement Doing my best not to ruin her mood, I gently placed my hand on her leg. I could feel her soft warmth in the palm of my hand.
気持ち悪くない？
No, not at all. Are you alright with this?
本心だと多分いやでも嫌じゃないって気持ちもあって、なんか自分でもわからないの。ただ葵くんだからって考えたら結局嫌じゃないって気持ちが勝ったみたい。
I guess she really did have she did have to put a lot of thought into it. Well, in the end, it really didn't matter since she didn't mind since it was me. Then I'm happy, because just like I said, your legs are a part of you, and I love every bit of you, Kotori.
じゃあもし足がこんなじゃなかったら好きじゃなかった？
Of course, I couldn't help but fall in love with a cute girl like you. I'm just not sure what you think of me.
そんなの好きになってたに決まってるわ。ただ葵くんの素敵さに気づくのが今よりちょっと遅れてた可能性はあるかもしれない。
Kotori thought for a moment with a serious look on her face.
私って美少女だし勉強もスポーツもできるから、もし足がこんな風になってなかったら謙虚な気持ちで生きられなかったと思うの。
That sentence. Since I'm beautiful, good at sports, and smart, I need this to make me humble.
葵くんは知らないでしょうけど、私って結構図に乗りやすい性格なのよ。
No, really. Oh, I know how cocky you can be. Oh, I know how cocky you can be. Anyone who knew her did. You probably wouldn't have come to Keifu to begin with. And we probably wouldn't have met. Kotori nodded.
事故にあっていろんなものを失ったけど、そう考えると手に入れたものもたくさんあるのね。
Kotori said earnestly as she grasped my hand.
この間のフライトの時、私に言ったことを覚えてる？
What's that?
空を飛んでる時の私が本当の私に思えるってやつ。
Oh yeah, that.
あれからね、私そのことを考えてたの。それはどうして私が飛びたいのかってのと同じ疑問で、答えはまだよくわからないんだけど。
Shout out to the music in this game. So perfectly mood setting. Like, so perfect.
でも空を飛んでる時だけは私は自由なの。この足が動かないなんて関係ない。自由になれるの。
Freedom. I could tell how important this was to Kotori. Even though she was in a wheelchair, she was always so full of energy. Sometimes I felt like her wheelchair was the only thing binding that energy and suppressing her. That was probably why she was so frustrated not being able to move freely. I want to move more freely. Only when she was in the sky could she escape from those binds.
自由っていうのは私がなくしちゃったものの一つだけど、他にもたくさんそういうものがあるのね。
Like what?
普通の人にとっては当たり前のことよ。友達と遊ぶことや彼氏と恋愛することや、それこそ葵くんと出会った頃なんてどん底だったから、毎日つまんなくて嫌なことばっかで。この私が学校が嫌いだって言ってたのよ。信じられる？
I mean, who doesn't? I wouldn't believe it if you said it now. Kotori nodded in agreement. She placed her own hand on top of the one I had still resting on her leg. So, you can't feel anything at all?
うん。この辺りから。
Saying that, she brought my hand to the base of her thigh.
さっき葵くん 手術の話してたけど、実は私もね、同じようなことを言われたの。
Really?
お医者さんからもしかすると治る可能性があるかもって、すごく難しい手術で日本じゃできないって言われた。お父さんが探し回ってくれたけど結局見つからなくて。
I had a brief feeling of hope, and now just crushing defeat. Probably what she went through. Would you be able to walk again if you had that surgery?
どうなんだろう。もし手術が成功したとしても完全には回復しないって言ってた。その上成功率は万に一つなんだって。なんかもう絶望的な数字よね。
I see.
期待させちゃった。ごめんね。それでもいいの。治るかもしれない希望があるだけで全然違うもの。まだ私は終わってないって思えるから。でも本当はもうダメなんだって分かってて、どん底気分で絶望して全部諦めかけてた。
After saying that, she laughed and rubbed my arm.
そこへ葵くんが現れたってわけ。
Kotari. I held her close to me. Almost unexpectedly, a sensation of love swept through me. I'm glad I met you. I love you, Kotari.
私も大好きよ、葵。
Kotari, relax.
なんかダメ。やっぱり無理だわ。
Okay, yeah, I understand. This is untranslatable in English, but she said owie, and then there was the biggest pause, and she had to add kun at the end. He's saying you don't have to drop the kun part. You don't have to add that. We're close enough that you don't have to be formal with me. Formal Japanese is completely separate. It's basically a whole different language from casual Japanese, and he's trying to say, stop being so formal. We're in a relationship. You can call me Aoi, not Aoi-kun. And she just can't, because it's part of the culture in
クイ
Japan.
ックロードす
Do
るのか？
not quit load. Do not quick load. It's part of the culture in Japan to be as formal and polite as possible. It's the most polite language on earth, so she just can't do it. She has to add kun at the end of it every single time. She just has to. So that's that. Me trying to explain that. Just telling someone to relax was easier said than done. But since she was my girlfriend, I wanted her to feel more relaxed with me. Oh, well then. Since she had already been sitting up, it was easy for me to slide my hands under her. I picked her up and cradled her in my arms. I meant to say it earlier, but you're not heavy at all, and this is no problem. So I won't put you down. Although Kotari seemed jittery for a moment, eventually my princess relaxed in my arms. She blushed slightly.
やばい。
What?
これすっごく嬉しい。
It appears so. If she was happy, I was too.
葵くんの腕プルプルいってない。
Yeah, he hits the gym. I said you weren't heavy, right? Besides, I've trained my upper body quite a bit.
ギュッてされるとすごくわかる。葵くんの体がっしりしてるって。
Obviously, you use your legs to pedal when biking, but you have to use your whole body to keep rhythm and balance to go fast. If you can't hold the handlebars properly, then there's no way you can pedal at full speed.
納得。
Kotari nodded while letting out a sigh of relief. By the way, my dear princess, I moved the conversation away from bikes and brought my attention back to her. I didn't want to just cradle her in my arms.
何
How are your feelings at the moment?
そんなの幸せに決まってるわ。
Ah, beautiful music to go with a beautiful, beautiful visual. Then I too am pleased.
これ大好き。
Just ask me anytime you'd like me to do so.
毎日でも
Even every day.
お姫様。私は毎日お姫様。
She liked this more than I thought she would.
じゃあ図に乗って毎日せがむわ。
I would do it every day before you ask.
うまい。
Receiving your praise is an honor. If someone had heard our conversation, I'm sure they would have smacked me across the head. But I didn't care. I was that happy right now.
お姫様。私はお姫様。そして葵くんは王子様。
I was planning on playing the part of a vassal.
葵くんは王子様なの。
Well then, if that's the case, then there's no difference in our rank.
この体勢で距離なんか感じるわけないじゃない。すぐそばに葵くんがいてお姫様抱っこをしてくれているんだから。
If you feel that way, you should be more relaxed then. You're still nervous?
あ無理なようなそうでないような。
I think my wanting her to not be nervous was only making her more so. I guess there was only one more thing I could do. I'd like to kiss you.
私も
Well then, princess, your wish is my command. I shall happily oblige to any of your orders, my dear princess. Staring at me, Kotori went into deep thought. For a moment, the cries of the nocturnal insects became nearly deafening. I heard a light whisper of a breath, and then...
キスして葵。
Ah, no, Aoi-kun. Her whisper seemed to evoke an even deeper allure. Of course, my princess. Our lips gently touched, as you can clearly see on the screen. I could feel the peacefulness of this moment in my lips, my arms, throughout my whole body. I accepted her love and returned it with my own. Then we slowly parted from each other.
好き大好き葵。
I love you too, my princess.
お姫様。
She sure seemed to like this. The stars can surely see how merry you are, princess.
心ゆくまで見るがいいわ。この私たちの幸せな様を。
Well then, I hope the weather is fine tomorrow.
そうね。
The twinkling stars of the night sky watched over our special time. Kotori's smile, however, shone brighter than any of those stars. I think we should be getting back soon.
もう少しこのまま。
As you wish. Sorry, the princess's wish is law.
なんかガランとしてるね。
そうね。ただでさえ無駄に広いのに人もグライダーもないとなるとね。
先輩たちが引退しちゃったらずっとこのままなのかな。
でしょうね。けど元に戻るだけよ。あの人たちが来る以前に。
なんでだろう。先輩たちがいて グライダーがあるのが当然みたいに思えちゃうんだよね。
ここがもともと飛行機用のドックだったからじゃない？
そうなのかな。なんだか寂しいわ、ヨルちゃん。せっかく楽しいことが始まってたのに。
ほんと勝手な人たちよね。私たちの気持ちももう少し考えてほしいものだわ。
Has Yoru got some pent up anger that we don't know about?
私たち？
言い間違えただけ。姉さんの気持ち。いや、
すごい言い間違いだね。一文字も合ってないよ。明日あのすごい雲来るかな。
さあ、確率的にはこの3日くらいが一番ありそうだったけど。
緊張してきた。
だからっておやつ食べ過ぎ。私の分残しておいてね。
食べてないと落ち着かないんだもん。
まったく。
そういう夜ちゃんはなんで掃除してるの？
別にみんな物を出しっぱなしにしてるから。何かしらこれ。ロープ？
Rattle?
いたいた。おーい、朝ちゃん、夜ちゃん。
アゲハ先輩、どうしたんですかこんな時間に。
いやー、家に一人でいると落ち着かなくって。ほら、明日あたり来そうでしょ。それでトビウオ荘に行こうかと思ったんだけど、せっかく二人きりなのを邪魔しても悪いと思って。ちょうど姉さんが寂しがってたところです。
先輩、大歓迎です。
ありがとう。はい、これ差し入れのイチゴ。
はあ、イチゴだよ夜ちゃん。
チュル。夜ちゃん、それ何？そこの物置で見つけたんです。ロープみたいに見えるんですけど、ほら。ゴム？ゴムの紐なんだ。
What is that?
何に使うものなのかと思って。
What is that?
なんだろう。何かをぶら下げてたのかな。ここにあるものだから飛行機に関係するものだと思うんですけど。
それよりイチゴ食べましょうよ。
そうだね。食べよう食べよう。
おいしい。このイチゴ甘いです。
もらい物なんだけど、うちじゃ食べきれないから持ってきたんだ。今日はここで寝るんですか？うん、寝袋も持ってきたよ。もしかしたら今夜で終わりかもしれないもんね。
アゲハ先輩、本当にやめちゃうんですか？
小鳥がやめるならね。小鳥先輩がいなくても続けられるじゃないですか。続けられるけど続ける意味がないっていうか。
アゲハ先輩はグライダーが好きじゃないんですか？
好きだよ。小鳥や葵や朝ちゃんたちとやるならやっぱりグライダーがいいな。葵たちが飛んでるの見るの好きだから。アゲハ先輩って変わってますね。そう？普通は自分で飛びたがるものじゃないでしょうか。そうかもね。何度か葵に乗せてもらったけど気持ちいいよね。
はい、気持ちいいです。
Has Yoru flown yet? I don't think she has. I think it's just been Asa.
でもまあそれが私の目的じゃないし、うまく言えないけど、 一番大事なのはそこじゃないの。
小鳥先輩がいなくなったらその大事なものもなくなってしまうってことですか。
そういうこと。
先輩たちはそんな風に思える大切な仲間なんだってことですよね。
仲間か。去年の夏にガレージを取り壊されてからほんと大変だったからね。あの時は悔しかったしほんと泣きそうだったけど、でも今思うとあれはあれで良かったのかなって思う。ただのクラブ活動以上のことができてるのは学校から外へ飛び出してったおかげだもん。
羨ましいです、先輩たちが。
何言ってんの。朝ちゃんももうとっくに仲間じゃん。部外者とか言いながらいつも手伝ってくれてる夜ちゃんもね。ねえ夜ちゃん、さっきのロープ見せて。何に使うものか調べてみよう。
そうですね。今日はみんなで並んで寝ましょうね、川の字になって。
なんかキャンプに来たみたいだね。
Kinda.
ねえ、葵。
What is it, my princess?
王子様じゃなく葵として話したい。
She dropped the coon. Yeah, sure. What's up? I switched tones as soon as she asked. Kotori was still looking up at the sky.
いよいよなのね。
It took a moment for me to understand what she had whispered. Yeah, pretty soon. I responded firmly. If Amine's predictions were right, there was a high chance of the morning glory coming within the next 3 days. This was what we had been waiting for the last year.
私、飛びたい。モーニンググローリーを、雲の回廊を渡りたい。
It sounded like she was wishing for it.
そうしたら、取り戻せる気がするの。未来が。
Your future? Kotori gave a deep nod.
そう。未来。私がなくした一番大きなもの。もしモーニンググローリーを飛べれば取り戻せる気がするの。
It wasn't as if she thought the clouds had some miracle power or something. She was probably talking about her dignity and meaning of life. I think to her, flying the morning glory was proof of her ability to live. So that's why I answered. You'll get it back. Kotori clung to me tightly.
一人じゃ不安だけど、葵といると勇気が湧いてくる。そばにいてくれてありがとう。
I hugged her with all my might. We'll definitely fly. We both looked at the same place, straight up in the sky, up to the highest point we could see.
何？なんか騒がしいんだけど。おはよ
う。Good morning, Kotori.
起きてきた。おはよう、小鳥。
おはようございます、小鳥先輩。おはよう。あんたたちか。ってなんでアゲハまでいるの？
いやー、一人寝が寂しくて昨日朝ちゃんたちに混ぜてもらってたの。
コロッケいただいてます。これ小鳥先輩が作ったんですよね。
Yeah, there was no way he ate all of them.
いいけど全部食べちゃダメよ。それ本当は葵のなんだから。葵。
Yoru's response had a bit of a twitch to it.
今なんかさらっと呼び捨てにしたわね。どうやら夕べのうちに進展があった模様。
Good night, everybody.
うっさいわね。いいでしょ、なんて呼ぼうが。こっちに来なくてよかったわ。危うくお邪魔虫になるところだった。
Kotari, do you want some rice?
大盛りで。
As I was filling her bowl, I heard a few voices coming from the hall. Is somebody here?
おはよ
Kaneko entered the dining room with a big smile on her face. She wasn't alone. Coming in after her was
う。ただいま、水瀬くん。
Yuka.
疲れた。バスの中で一睡もできなかったよ。おはようございます。
早苗さんに、涼子ちゃんも。みんなどうしたの？かなこさんから電話もらったのよ。
そうそう、ソアリング部のみんながなんかすごいことするらしいから見といた方がいいよって。
それで夜行バスで帰ってきたら、みんな時間が同じだったみたいで、駅でばったり。
So that's why you're all here so early.
私はさっき寮の前で会ったんだけどね。
あの2階の部屋に隠してあったグライダーで飛ぶんでしょ。なんとかって雲を。
私たちも興味あるからさ。みんな頑張ってたのいつも横で見てたし、一度飛んでるところ見てみたかったから。そう言うと思って一応連絡も回しておいたわけ。
From the time our garage was trashed till the time we got our base, Flying Fish Manor was where we had been doing our work. It was a bit of a nuisance for Yuka and everyone else, but they never complained, and had even helped from time to time.
というわけで朝ごはんプリーズ。
There are some croquets if you'd like. Kotari made them.
これ小鳥ちゃん作ったの？すごいおいしそう。
Is it okay if everyone had some?
もちろんよ。私たちの晴れ舞台を見るためにわざわざ帰ってきてくれたんだもん。でもお口に合うかしら。昨日作ったやつだからもう冷めてるし。
That's why they invented microwaves. There's rice and miso soup too. I'll get you some.
あ、私手伝うわ。
The doorbell rang just as I was scooping out a serving of rice.
はーい。
Sane pattered off to the entrance. Later on,
お邪魔します。
Tatsuya! As he entered, all of the girls blushed a little and began fixing their hair.
おはようハニー。
よう来てやったぞ。
Everyone is here. Da 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 da. Hotaru, Masa! What are you doing here?
昨日いちごのお裾分け持っていこうと思ったんだけどな。アゲハにお邪魔になるからやめとけって言われて、仕事行く前に持ってきたんだ。
Saying that, he put 3 packs of strawberries on the table.
昨日のいちごだ。本当だ。私はあーちゃんに呼ばれて。あーちゃん、はい着替え。おお、悪いわね。
What about you, Masa?
あ？こないだ飛んでるとこ見に行った時、なんか中途半端になっちゃっただろ。もう一回ちゃんと見ときたいと思ってな。
Oh, really?
あ、勘違いすんなよ。これは生徒会役員としてだからな。別にお前らなんか興味ねえからな。
Yeah, sure. Say it, don't spray it.
なんか一気に大所帯に。
Do you all want some breakfast?
いいのか？
じゃあちょっとだけ。
なんかうまそうだな、このコロッケ。
I guess making all of them was a good call.
葵の分ちゃんと残るかしら。
しかし こうなると足りない人が一人いるわね。と言ったそばから。
It's Hibari, isn't it?
このチャイムの押し方は。
No, it's Amane. What am I talking about?
私見てきます。
It has to be Amane. Ryoko headed towards the entrance. A moment later,
やあ、おはようみんな。
Amane walked in with a huge smile on her face.
本当に来ちゃったよ。
Good morning. What happened? You're here early.
今日もテストをするんだろう。顧問としてしっかり見ておこうと思ってな。
いつも気まぐれで来たり来なかったりするくせに、ご飯の匂いにつられてきたんじゃないでしょうね。いい匂いだ。お腹空いてたのを思い出してしまったぞ。
Of course. Here you go.
わーい、ありがとう葵くん。
In a moment, a quiet morning suddenly became very noisy. It felt just like the morning before a festival.
葵くん、おかわり。
Yeah, I haven't even eaten yet.
あー、こっちも。
Okay, I'm on it.
こーら、あんたたち食べ過ぎ。葵の分なくなっちゃう。
葵？葵？
Everyone was paying attention to the way Kotori was speaking.
もういいでしょ、なんて呼ぼうが。
Everyone noticed. It was a pretty cool morning. It really felt as if summer was about to end.
ほら、さっさと食べてテストフライトやるわよ。
The last summer we might have. That would be such a good stopping point. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going for now. Excuse me. Okay. Today's flight was all ready to go. The morning glory could appear any day now. By thinking that, everyone was able to get motivated. It was set up to be like the real flight, from takeoff all the way to getting up to the clouds. Air currents vary by season and atmospheric pressure patterns. Flying the same path twice was extremely difficult in a glider. The topography of an area also heavily impacts the frequency of updrafts and thermals. Today's flight was as accurate a rendition as we could get of the real thing. It was a dress rehearsal.
どうだった？いけそう？リフトは捕まえられたけど、サーマルに乗るのとは感覚が違うのね。流れが読めなくて戸惑った。意外なところに下降気流が発生してたり。でも大丈夫。だんだん慣れてきたから。
After coming back from our second flight, we took a break while Ageha and the crew checked the glider. Flying an unfamiliar course would be particularly hard since the wind is strong today. I had been directing the course from behind so that Kotori could focus on maintaining the glider's balance while in flight.
想定よりだいぶ流されてたもんね。
アゲハ先輩、チェック完了しました。こっち異常なしです。こっちもよ。オッケー。じゃああと5分休憩したら次のフライト行くよ。
次どこまで飛ぶ？まだ時間あるし、もう一回様子見する？
No, I'd like to fly while we've got the time to spare. I don't want to be trying to come back when the sun's already gone down.
そうね、それがいいと思う。
ってことは次は野外着陸も視野に入れてのフライトってわけね。
An outside landing means landing somewhere other than the runway. If we ran out of altitude and couldn't return to the runway, we would land elsewhere. However, this was by no means an emergency landing. In this case, we would aim to land somewhere that wouldn't cause problems for others and where we could easily recover the glider. And of course, this should never damage the glider itself. Since we never flew far, we always flew with the assumption we'd be returning to the runway. We're still essentially doing that today, but when the real flight happens, there's no guarantee. Luckily, there's a lot of open land in Kazagara. It shouldn't be hard to find a place to do an outside landing.
だいぶ風が出てきたな。
Amane whispered as she looked at the clouds moving briskly across the sky. Yeah, it's much stronger than we had anticipated. We almost had to do an outside landing earlier.
おーい、飲み物買ってきたぞ。
Masa came back with a convenience store bag in hand. He had been out on a trip since morning. It was about the time he'd usually get bored, but he'd surprisingly been helping out with a lot of stuff. Thanks, Masa.
別にお前のためじゃねえよ。お前の分はついでだからな。
またまた葵大好きっ子なくせに。
ちげえよバカ。俺が愛してるのはあかりさんだ。
I took the cold sports drink from Masa and handed one to Koteri. There was no AC in the cockpit. It was like being in a greenhouse. We had to be careful not to get dehydrated. Okay, about time to get going.
渓流解いて。
Since the wind was strong today, the glider was moored to the ground. After she released the mooring, Koteri headed towards the cockpit.
ああ、そうだ葵。一応非常食代わりにビスケットを。
As Ageha called out for me, and I turned to take the cookies from her. Oh no. The wind suddenly changed directions. The wind coming from the lake suddenly blew the strongest it had all day. I heard Amane cry out, and as I turned, I saw not only the glider, which had been caught by the sudden wind and was raised slightly off the ground, but also, right in front of that giant wing, a completely helpless Kotori. Kotori! The next moment, the glider collided with Kotori and sent both her and her wheelchair flying. Kotori! By the time I had made it to her side, she had lost consciousness. Yeah. I continued pacing. Kotori was taken to the hospital in an ambulance. While she had no visible injuries, Kotori was going to be given a thorough examination. Fortunately, the glider had hit her wheelchair, so Kotori was only knocked out off it and hadn't been directly hit. Hibari was supposed to contact me and let me know the results, but I still hadn't heard anything. I stared at my silent phone. I let out a frustrated sigh as the doorbell rang. Only a moment later, there was a sudden banging on the door.
Nani?
I'll go see who it is. I motioned for Ageha to back up as I opened the door. Standing there was... Mr. Tobioka.
ハバネは無事なのか?
Mr. Tobioka yelled as soon as he saw me. How did he know? Why was he that frantic? Hundreds of questions popped into my head. She's still at the hospital.
どこの病院だ?
I told him the hospital which she had been taken to. She had no obvious external injuries. They're giving her a thorough examination right now. Looking closely, I could tell he was sweating. Besides breathing heavily, his forehead was producing beads of sweat that were messing up his thinning hair. It seemed like he had run here as soon as he had heard about the accident. Actually, that was probably exactly the case here. Miss Morino should be at the hospital. Miss Morino was our homeroom teacher. But Mr. Tobioka wasn't. Why would he rush all the way out here?
どうかしたのか? すごい音がしていたけど。
Amane had come running from the dining hall after hearing the noise. Mr. Tobioka glared at Amane as soon as he saw her.
望月、これはお前の責任だぞ。お前が顧問を引き受けたりしたからだ。また同じことを繰り返すつもりか。
Amane stood still, seemingly paralyzed by fear from the vicious reprimand that Tobioka barked. He then gave us all a rage-filled stare.
無許可の校外活動で事故を起こした。もう言い逃れはさせんぞ。ソアリング部は無期限の活動停止。あの忌々しいグライダーも没収だ。もしまた違反したら処分してやるから覚悟しろ。
As if cursing us, he spat out his warning. With that, he promptly left the dormitory. He was likely headed to the hospital Kotori had been taken to.
何だったの？
I have no idea. Mr. Tobioka was mad. I could understand and even have predicted that much. He was more than angry, however. I could see that he was genuinely worried about Kotori. He wasn't her homeroom teacher, supervisor, or even had much contact with her. His dramatic reaction seemed a little suspicious. While that was probably normal for a teacher, it still seemed way too strong.
私の責任だ。
Amane spoke quietly.
だからそうじゃないですってば。
We had repeated this conversation a number of times after Kotori had been taken to the hospital.
顧問っていうのは建前みたいなもので、責任は私らにあるんです。
Akari had said, you can't be recognized as a club unless you have a supervisor, which is why we asked Amane. That was just a front, though. We intended to take all responsibility if something were to actually happen. But the truth was that if something did happen, Amane would also be held accountable.
いや、でも引き受けたのは私だ。飛岡先生が怒るのは当然だ。先輩。
There was nothing that could be said to console her. All we could do now was pray Kotori was okay. What a terrible place to end, but... Time's up.
データを上書きしたわ。
Alright.
嘘よ。これからよ。
Okay. Day 18 of If My Heart Had Wings. It's not as sad as last week's, but man, that took a turn there at the end. A really unexpected one. Alright, I'll be back next Sunday. I will be back next Sunday, the day after Christmas, to continue my playthrough of this game. In the meantime, I'll be back Tuesday to play something else. Not sure what yet. Alright, if you want to get caught up on this series, we do archive all of our streams at youtube.com/eastasiasoft. So head over there if you want to get caught up, if you are not interested in buying this game for yourself. But man, I really hope that you consider doing that. Until next time, on behalf of Eastasiasoft, I have been Skull. Have yourselves a great day and a great week, and I will see you all next time. And hopefully we will find Kotori all nice and well. Bye, everyone.